Tonga with John Pulu.
Eo ho eke hamata pule, malo tau mau e whiawhini. You are listening to PMN Tonga from us here in Tamaki Makaurau, Aukalani ao te aroa Nusila. Te tau ki kolosi heni I he tasimani. We're going to cross across the Tasman to Australia now, to Victoria in particular, where we have two special guests, Finau Manu'ofetoa as well as Lavinia Pera, who are going to talk to us about Pacific Connections. Welcome to you, Finau. Taritari whiawhia ko he polokala. Malo e tau mau e whiawhini.
Malo, Sione, thank you so much for having us.
Lavinia, great to have you on our polokalama as well.
Likewise, thank you, Sione.
Taritari whiawhia ki moa. So maybe let's start with Finau, who is the president of Pacific Connections, as well as Lavinia is a board member of Pacific Connections. So Finau, coming back to you, ki whamatala mai, tell us more about Pacific Connections and why it was set up.
Thank you so much, Sione. And I think I will start and introduce and talk a little bit about Pacific Connections, but I think oku mahu inga ke o whaipe oku ki whakatapu, ke kakai tupu ai whonuani, ko kakai Wurundjeri o pule anga Kulin, aia ko talanoa atu me ai e he ahoni. So as you know, I am calling you and joining in from Victoria, which is the land of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, who were the first Indigenous people of this country, and this land was never ceded, and so always was and always will be Aboriginal country. So I just want to start with that, John, and just acknowledge that we are joining you today as visitors who are working from this land. And I will just introduce myself quickly, Sione. So again, I am the president of Pacific Connections. I think president is a title o ku mahu inga ngia ke kaupālangi, he kautonga. President sort of gives you spaces to get into rooms that you wouldn't otherwise get in if you just introduce yourself as Finau. So I am very honored to be the president for Pacific Connections. But like I said, koe mau ngawe aki pe o wha. And so Pacific Connections is a non-for-profit organized, community-led organization. We are very much driven by our volunteers and the time that they put in to serve our community. And I will speak in English for a lot of this session because a lot of our members will be tuning in and they're not all kakaitonga as well. So just a bit of background, Pacific Connections actually started back in 2017. Out of an initiative that was led by another organization called Women's Health West. And that initiative was actually looking to introduce programs for minorities on how they can best tackle issues that their people face. Unfortunately, unlike New Zealand, Pacific people were not a minority. Our voices are not heard. And so we really are the only people really fighting for the voices of our people. And so this community group and this project actually gave birth to Pacific Connections as it's known now. The organization was actually founded by 4 key members. I wasn't one of them. I wish I was, but I just have the blessing of sitting in the position of power that I do today, but I wasn't a founding member. And out of the work that they did in their project, we were able to then become an incorporated organization, which makes us legit, he anga koe tau lea whakapālangi, and also allows us to work and move in the community space. So we have been working together for just over about 5 years now. And we are all volunteers, or like we are from various countries from around the Pacific. Lavi and I, we are a part of the Tongan members, but we also have members from Samoa, Cook Island, Fiji, the Maori population as well. So we are very spread in our diversity. But I think I see you nodding, Suna, but I think we get to where we want to go faster if we all go together. And so that's why Pacific Connections, we've sort of worked together as a group. we're not just a Tongan group, we're not just a Samoan group or a Fijian group.
Pacific, eh?
We are a very mixed joint community group. And so I
Oh,
can
fofa.
talk a little bit more about the work that we're doing, but just a little taste of what Pacific Connections is.
Very nice. Pea māloa pito ngā we lahi me hena, especially for our Pacific communities over in Australia. It is important to have representation and, people like yourselves to advocate for our community and also the issues that impact us. I'll come now to Lavinia, Whamore More Pe Lavinia. As a board member, could you maybe give us an idea of some of the projects that you've been involved with or the organisation's been, serving in the community?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Yane. Well, I only joined PACCON in late 2021. And in 22, that was my first experience of being a part of PACCON's organisation with the expo that they hold annually.
Oh, yeah.
And this year, we're currently just doing mini projects. So it's been a great experience joining, especially because we're all women. And all from different, like as Finau explained, we're all from different parts of the Pacific. It's not just one nation driven, it's all of the Pacific. So yeah, it's been great because, as Nell touched on before, it's all about keeping our community in touch with opportunities out there. So yeah.
Maybe I'll come back to Finau, whakawhetai and māloe ngā welahi Lavinia. Could you give us an example of some of the work that you guys have been doing? Because I know you will have a special program coming up next week, but we'll save that till last. But we'll come to you, Finau. Tell us about some of the projects that you've been involved with.
Yeah, so one of the key projects that we actually helped drive during COVID was translating all the important information from English into Tongan. So not even Tongan, but also Samoan, Fijian, and Cook Island as well. During a pandemic, it is a very new experience for a lot of people. And during that time, there was a lot of misinformation that was going around, especially in the Pacifica community. And so our government really found it hard to communicate their message for safety and health with our Pacifica community. And so our team was actually one of the first teams that just internally within our own connections were able to translate COVID safe information to our people. And it is now only just recently that you can log into the government website and you can actually find Tongan material there for our people to use. We were actually at one point leveraging a lot of the communications that were coming out from Aotearoa because we actually didn't have any priorities in our own space. And so a lot of the work that we do, we sort of hear it a lot within social media, is Australia's trying to copy New Zealand. And we very much are, because I think New Zealand has actually shown us just where we can get to when our own people are fighting for issues and for their voice to be heard at tables where decisions are made. And so I think that's been a really important thing for us to then pick up, because that was just something that was missing in our community that we've picked up. It's now being adopted more broadly. But then other sort of programs that we run as well is we actually run and own the only exhibition for our Pacifica businesses and organizations.
Really?
And so for a lot of our people, you can walk into a community center, but you won't be greeted by someone who's Pacifica. Someone who looks like you, someone who's had the same upbringing as you, someone where English is not always going to be the first language, or where translations isn't going to be available. And so what our Pacific Connections Expo does, it actually allows all our Pacifica people, businesses, organizations, and services to come together in one room. And our people can actually just walk around and find them. So rather than you having to find them, we'll find them for you. We'll put on an event and you can actually come and find all the services that are there and available to support our Pacifica people.
I love it. And it is sounds like very similar to some of the projects we're doing here in Aotearoa. And it's so awesome that you guys are taking that and I guess recreating it over there. Especially when it comes to health issues, because that's an area that is very important to our community. And if we're not getting the right information, that can cause a lot of harm and other issues as well. But I'll come back to Lavinia now. Maybe now we can talk about the special project. And speaking of Kiwi, you guys have also taken something from us. You've taken a film that was made here, which is fantastic, a Tongan film, Red, White and Brass. Lavinia, tell us about this special event, and I'm sure there will be our Tongan listeners tuning in from the Melbourne or Victoria area who are very interested in this.
Yeah. I don't even know where to begin. And Finau, maybe you can jump on and help me. But, we really fought to get the premiere here in Melbourne because Melbourne was left off the map. It wasn't even considered as an option. So me and Finau, we put on our gloves and we got on the phone with the distributors and we were like, hey, mate, you forgot about us here in Melbourne. We can make this event happen. And I'm happy to announce that we've actually secured the event for next Saturday on the 17th of June, 6:30 at Sunshine Village Cinemas. And I might just pass it over to Finau because this whole event actually started off with the late night conversation from Finau messaging me saying, hey sis, what do you think about this idea? So yeah.
Nia, I was really hoping. I think like John must be sick of my voice, but
Not at all, my dear.
no.
Not at all.
So John, I think like we already saw from afar the success that Red, White and Brass was having in New Zealand, and we felt like we were missing out. I think it's no secret that this movie Koe Kakai Nuku Nuku Peog Nau Asi here feeding me, and so that was a big driver for me here because I'm from the Kolotau Kahule as well.
Oh yeah,
And I really wanted to fight for the opportunity for us to just get a screening or the movie to come here as well. And so to Lavinia's point, when we caught up with them, the biggest Pacifica populations is actually in Brisbane, so Queensland and New South Wales. Victoria is probably third in terms of population, and so we weren't even considered as a destination for the movie to come to as a pre-screening. And so shout out to Stallone from New Zealand, who actually helped us make it happen as well. And so we do have our premiere next Saturday. Our tickets are all sold out. We sold out within 24 hours of announcing as well. So
goodness me, congrats.
And you can't bribe me. We will not take bribes to get you tickets.
Don't bring your brass
Not
band.
even KFC.
Your brass band won't get you here. Oh, maybe KFC will get you here, and maybe a bag of 1 kilo kava.
Okay.
But we do have 3 of our cast members, our very talented cast members, joining us for our Melbourne premiere. So we've got Devita and Valeti Finau, as well as Ilaisane Green attending our event, which we're very, very lucky to have them be able to come across and support and also be able to see firsthand the Melbourne reaction to the film. Because none of us who will be going to the premiere have actually seen the film. So we'll all be seeing it for the first time together.
It is so mawhana. I think that's the key word, hashtag mawhana.
Yep.
Absolutely. It is a beautiful film, and I think this is just the beginning of many more Pacific stories going on the big silver screen. Congratulations, guys. This is wonderful news. Not only are you helping empower our people, but also you bring a little bit of hope and celebration to our community by celebrating our beautiful faces being on the big screen. So any other upcoming events? Because now I'm sure our listeners are going, oh, we missed out. How can people, follow? I'm sure you guys have got your socials.
Yeah, so we do have our social media. So please, on Instagram, it is Pacific Connections, similar to Facebook. But we do, after the premiere, we have our annual Pacific Connections exhibition as well. Now, the exhibition, we are looking to make it bigger than we usually do. So please, if you're interested, please reach out to our team. Even if you want to join as a member, we're always looking for new members, new voices, new lived experiences that we can use to help solve the problems that our community face.
Tala monu atu. Lavinia, was there anything else you wanted to add while we wrap up our Polo Kalama?
No, not really. Just thank you for the opportunity. I was really stoked to hear that we were going to be interviewed by the one and only John
Oh,
Bull. So
stop it. Let's
it's a
go.
pleasure.
It is an honour to have you on our Polo Kalama Lavinia as well as Finau. Māloa pito for your leadership and the work that you guys are doing over there and representing not just Pasifika but also, of course, the people of the Friendly Islands, the Kingdom of Tonga. Ofalahi atu kia moa and all the very best for the big premiere, la premiere next